YouTube, Brian Phillips, we've got something to open today. It is not in a garbage bag, but it might as well be. This one is taped all over. So I think they spent an extra little bit of measure of care. We've got a nice big squish there. So we're gonna see if this thing survived. I think it will. I mean, it's pretty hard. If this is the gift wrapping, people are probably gonna be able to see through it. So I'm kind of hoping if you order this thing as a gift, you'll want to maybe be on top of your shipping schedule. Mm-hmm. At any rate, it is going to be Christmas 2020, which means lots of good things, not the least of which is that 2020 is almost over.
I was going to say, doesn't it?
It's been a good year for us, but not for everybody. Foam, okay.
It's not plastic.
Yeah. Okay, so this is an indoor plane, hypothetically, allegedly.
Like the one behind you?
Well, that one's indoor now. Oh, wow. That packaging is really good, actually.
Oh.
See that?
Yeah. Nice.
Came with
know,
double
my
A's. What the
favorite.
heck is going on here?
I don't understand.
Are we in the Twilight Zone? Okay, so the damage inside the box was nothing, so I'm not really worried about that now, which is nice. I am going to plan on keeping this package, which is one disappointing factor. No, because the type of plane.
Oh.
Because then I can store it. Okay, so this thing is supposed to be able to fly really slow. What many of you guys may not realize is that I started flying on an Inum, not an Inum Elite, but an Inum, which is about a 10-gram plane. This has a 70 milliamp hour 1S pack. That's a very small 70 milliamp hour pack. My goodness, I like that. That's cool. And it comes with the transmitter, 2.4 gigahertz, so it's not going to be like a radio frequency, or excuse me, it's not going to be an infrared. Some of the early ones like this had infrared, and if you got out of line of sight, you would lose control of it. So that's a good thing. Very thin, kind of fits your hands nicely. Okay, so this is just, I doubt it's got all 3 channels. It's just got dihedral. So the dihedral is going to help you to roll the aircraft, which we'll talk about here in a minute. It looks like one of my pieces of foam popped off here. See this? This was supposed to be in there, trapping the plane in, but I can't see any damage yet. And then it does come with a spare prop. We're going to stick the batteries into the transmitter here in a minute, but it does come with 4 Sunpato, that's the brand I get those. It's either Duracell or this. So we're gonna use those here in a minute. The back here is taped. The front was taped and the tape failed in packaging, which is fine. If they both would have failed, that would have been a bummer, but they did not both fail. So as a result, we're okay. I just wanna, wow, that's bigger than I thought it was gonna be. But that thing is gonna fly slow. Look at this, allegedly. Look at the glue.
Yes, I was noticing
Nice
that.
Clean glue job.
Little.
So these are little micro servos.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, exactly. And so that's just a coil. And when that coil gets energized, it pulls it to one side or the other. Okay?
Really?
Yep. And then of course you've got a brushed motor up here. And so this is supposed to fly inside. So we're gonna see if we can really fly it inside. I mean, granted, we've flown some planes inside that weren't supposed to fly inside. But this one is legitimately supposed to fly inside. You can see those little, see that? This is a pretty big package. I almost would argue that they could have done the packaging tighter and saved a lot in shipping costs. We're just gonna throw that right where the reading receptacle for, we put them in there and then.
The cat food, you mean?
Oh, was that the cat food? Not the garbage can. Well, we'll take it out after we clip away from this for a minute.
Needed a good laugh tonight.
I was just gonna say the Chinese instructions are usually pretty much totally useless, but they might be good for a laugh. So we'll look at them later.
Just for fun.
We'll look at them for fun. Oh, jeez. Okay, so we're just gonna cut these batteries open. So the safety feature that they put onto this plain is just the packaging on the 4 AA batteries. Yeah, the cats aren't going to eat that, I guess. Maybe
No,
we should.
probably
Maybe we
not.
should. They've got some really good packaging on this manual
Actually,
here.
like packaged the manual.
They actually did
Didn't bend
package
it
the
in
manual.
half.
That's nice. We'll throw that part away. Okay, Space Walker. 290 millimeters by, and of course it opens this way. And then it opens this way. That's kind of interesting. Where do they get their paper? So yeah, I can't read any of that at all. Okay, so we're gonna try this side. Hold on, is there English also on it? See, they don't even mess around. They're just going straight Chinese on this one.
Hey, I have a question now.
What?
Oh, that's the battery. I thought that was a charger. Ours
No, the
didn't come with a
charger's
charger.
integral to the transmitter more than likely. So let's see how this works. Yep, it's right there. See?
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool. So flat goes down into the spring, flats into the spring. Of course, there's a drawing on there. So if you guys aren't familiar with this stuff, don't feel bad. You're not alone. Obviously, we do some more complicated planes. So when it's on, it's got a flashing light. When it's off, it's got no light. There's a little red light. My guess is when I plug this in here, it's keyed, so it'll only slide in the one way. Once you slip it in, look what happens. The red light comes on. When you pull it out, the red light goes away. So that's how you can charge the battery. Now keep in mind, that's gonna use your, let's show them inside the hole here. See, that's the female receptacle for this plug. Actually, this is technically the female. It's got 2 sockets and then 2 pins down there. That's male. And the tab is gonna go toward the outside. And so this is not real high precision, so just make sure you get it in the hole when you cram it. Okay? This is nice though. It's compact. I don't really understand why it's so compact, and then they do this gigantic antenna because it's just a cabinet around it.
I figured it was gonna be one of those like itty bitty little like barely
Obnoxious
holding
control.
your hand controllers.
Exactly. Really bad for adult hands. You can't ever
Yeah.
seem to get a hold of it. This was totally useless. They
yep,
didn't even make
you're
an
right.
attempt. Honestly, China, that's a victory, you know, because your English translations suck anyway.
Not as entertaining.
I know, they're usually hilarious actually. Like no flying in hospital parking lots. Except this one,
erratic
you
children.
probably could do that. Erratic children, that's right. You always got to watch out for
Are
erratic
there
children.
non-erratic children?
We don't have them.
Actually, we have one.
That's true. We have one, but only because we aged out of the erratic stage.
That's probably true.
So we have some other batteries here. I don't know if any of them are going to be appropriate for this. So what we're going to do is we'll just go ahead and find a charger real quick, and we'll come back and show you how I'm actually going to charge this thing, because I don't want to waste my AA's on it, and I'll show you what I'm going to do.
Okay.
All right, so this thing is charging technically. So I don't want to wait around for it. So I have multiple choices. This is a Spectrum Micro LiPo charger. Okay, it can charge up to 4 at the same time, which is nice, especially if you get a couple of these for your kids and or your husband, also known as other kids. And it says on here, so ultra micro, and you can plug this straight into that. You just got to get it lined up right. And you can see on the side there's some tabs. It's always fun to line up these really small connectors. Come on, you can do it, Brian. I know you got it in you. Okay, so once you plug that in, then you can tell it how fast you want to charge it. This is in amps, so this is 70 milliamp hours, so 70 thousandths of an hour. So technically, that would be 70 milliamp hours, and it's at 4.07 volts. So then you press and hold it, and it's going to start charging, okay? So that's going to charge it much quicker. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to charge it a little bit quicker. I think you have to keep clicking until you get to the setting. I have to stop it. Now I can set this to much faster. I'm going to charge it at 0.5 amp. Just because I want it to go quicker. Now, they also have this little doohickey here. This is another style of charger that you can use. And you have to plug that into a USB, micro, into a USB type A, just your regular run-of-the-mill cell phone charger. And then you can charge it that way, either in port 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. And you can do those simultaneously as well. So I just like this one. It seems to work a little bit better. And look how fast we're coming up to charge. 4.2, incidentally, is full charge. I just wanted to show you those two couple of options. These are in the, I have a link for smart items, as in smart packs like this. These are LiPos for bigger planes. Obviously, this one's a little bit smaller. Hold on. Let's show them one that's 1,000 times bigger. Is this a 7,000 milliamp hours? Would that be 100 times bigger? So that's a little bit more expensive too. But anyway, that's six cells. So it's actually 600 times bigger because this is 0.07, and this is 7 amp hours.
That's crazy.
And there's 6 of them in series, which gets you up to the voltage for the plane that would fly with that, which is kind of cool. So this is charging now, and it'll take just a couple of minutes. You don't have to buy anything, but it will take a few minutes to charge. This thing is supposed to fly for 15 minutes, which I have a hard time believing, but we'll find out. I'm not sure if we're gonna even test it that long because that's a long video flying inside this living room.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see.
Well, you never know.
I know you people are falling off your chairs asking yourself this question, but can I pull off the tape and get down to the box? Yes, you can, except for where they have the perfed edges. It's just gonna be a nightmare. I didn't know if you guys cared, but if you were wrapping this and you're really concerned about somebody that wants to see the package or wants to keep a nice package, let's be honest, this package is not probably the nicest package you're ever gonna get in the RC world, but it is decent. And this is a flat finish. So the retail packaging looks nice, but it's not necessary. Obviously, it was protected good enough to get here from China or wherever it came from. Actually, I think this might have been in North America, but I'm not sure on that. Obviously, follow the link in the description if you want to buy one of these, and we're going to be flying it in just a minute or two. But I just wanted to show you that real quick. If you do decide you can't live without peeling this, though, I would probably try to talk you out of it because it's going to be a humongous pain in the butt.
Yeah.
I have done it before, and it is a huge pain in the butt. But even with that matte finish on it, you can basically get it all off of there.
I think the bigger thing to be aware of is if you're ordering it for a gift, it's
going to
highly
be
likely that you're going to see it.
Yeah, I was going to
tape.
say you need to whatever you need to do for shipping. But see, you know, they might be over in Europe.
Right.
They might be in the Netherlands. They might be. I don't know where you guys are. That's whoever you are that's ordering this. If you're ordering it, just pay attention to the shipping time frames.
And sometimes they do come in a gray, like in a garbage bag, and then you can't see through.
You can mark, please ship a non-Banggood package or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think
Maybe,
you can do
okay.
that. Yeah, that's right. So while we're waiting for this, I want to show you one other detail. This is the canopy, the simulated canopy. Looks like it peeled up a little bit. That's no good. And then there is a magnet here, or no, that's not a magnet. That's just where the battery goes. So this is a pocket that holds the battery. And there is a gearbox on the motor. So there's a gear reduction motor. So this has more torque. And then these decals feel like they're probably gonna wanna come off. So not a big deal. This says 4.2 volts. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop it. Okay, so I'm just gonna actually put it in and we'll see what we've got. So typically you want to turn on your transmitter first for safety reasons because you want to be able to control this. Obviously don't stick your finger in the prop because that would not be a good idea. Are you going to come over here and show them a close-up of this? You see where that plug is? This side goes up, okay? This is going to be a little bit tricky. Whoops. So this slides in there first. And then you push it down flat and you can support it with your other thumb and then slide that in. Do you hear that noise? Mm-hmm. That's the rudder servo. Okay. Up, down, and it's armed. Okay. It's actually got proportional controls. See this? I move it a little bit and it goes a little bit. I move it a lot and it goes a lot. That's pretty cool. I didn't expect that at all. There is no elevator. No pesky elevator to deal with.
Who needs those?
So this is technically 2 channels. So you got throttle and you've got rudder. Ooh, it's slow. Good. Relatively slow. Oh yeah. Nice. It flies good. It's not hard to fly, but it's also not, this is not going to be maybe as easy as I might make it look. Not that I'm some sort of phenomenal pilot, but I do fly a lot. And this is a pretty big space. We have 16-foot high ceilings in the middle. And let's see how it does for durability. It seems like it's going to handle a hit just fine because it's very thin and it's very light. Okay, I just noticed that we left the spacewalker box up. We're just going to put that down. Let's see if we can do a wheels up, wheels down. You'll notice there are not wheels. So without further ado, here we go. So I'm going to hold it. It's a little bit too sticky to slide on our counter. If you wanted to put some flour down or something, it goes slow. We have a fan running too. See, it's durable.
Yeah.
So our fan is spinning up there. Show them the fan. And so that's pushing the air currently up. Okay, so here we go. Ooh, it stopped. Do you want to know why?
Battery got knocked.
Battery got knocked forward. Okay. Which is probably a good thing anyway. Okay, so there we go. So far, so good. It's balanced out nicely. It really does settle down nicely. And then as you tip the plane with the rudder, and it's very good proportional controls actually. See, I can go a little bit or I can go a lot. With the Inum, it was all or nothing essentially. That is really cool. And it's actually pretty easy to fly because of those high dihedral wings. That is really cool. Oh no! We haven't broken it just quite yet. Okay, let's just show the people how light it is. Let's put it on the scale real quick.
Okay.
Because this thing is exceptionally light. Now, if you guys are concerned about the drone registry, if you know anything about the drone registry in North America, you do not have to ever register anything that's flown indoors, period. Okay, at least that's the way the law is right now. So it's 23 grams. So if you flew this outside, you're well below the 250 gram limit. So you do not have to register this. Now, keep in mind, if you're flying this outside, it better be dead calm. And when I said dead calm, I mean no wind at all.
At all.
If a mosquito flies by, it might knock it out of the air.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. This thing is, almost 3¼ times as heavy as the Inum. So,
really?
Yep.
Wow.
And look how much better it flies.
It does.
It flies a lot better. It also knocks the battery out if you crash into something. Weird. I like the prop pitch. It's like a perfect balance of power. Okay, so as you can see, I'm not sitting here really working hard. I'm just basically trying to show you I can fly it with one hand. Look at the damage. None. I had that running on the table. There was no damage to the table either, which is always nice. It's good to know these things because the way that this crashes, look how it crashes. When it lands, the prop can touch, but it's got this point on it that prevents the prop from hitting, which is really nice. So it just kind of pivots on the prop. See that? So we've crashed many planes in this living room. See, again, no damage to the wings. Maybe I should show them what it looks like flying and not crashing.
So I was thinking, if you were flying this like in a gym or something,
oh, you'd be able to easily.
Super easy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you'll notice it's wanting to tip forward. That's because I'm not giving it enough airspeed. So part of the way you get this thing to fly well is by getting it up to speed, and don't try to dink around. Get it enough power. There you go. And if you see it oscillating like that, where it goes up and down, that's the hardest way to recover. So I am oscillating my throttle to get away from such oscillation. But once you get it flying and it's relaxed into its flight performance, it's actually very easy to control. And we have our fan on. Depth perception is actually quite easy. I'm gaining altitude now. So you see what I did? I used my rudder to kick the plane into a roll, and then that stalls one wing and it creates extra lift on the other. That's what the dihedral does. And there's just so much wing surface here that it really does a great job. It could almost fly with less wing, to be honest. And if you get this thing and you find that you're having trouble because it wants to go up too much, then you can actually bend these down just a hair. You see that's got a pinch on it? You can take some scissors and cut this, or you can just continue the pinch over and just give it a little bit of bend. You can also, you see these? You can actually cut those and slow the plane down even further by folding those down. That would become a flap. So you would do all 4 of these down, you know, maybe like 10 degrees, 15 degrees max. And if you really want to slow it down a lot, you put them straight down. You can do a single piece of tape to hold that from here to here, clear tape. And then that becomes a fixed flap. And you'll be able to fly even slower. But there's a lot more drag, so you burn through battery faster. It's really pretty. It's funny because the most hokey looking plane will be super fun when you're watching it fly around your own living room. Now, can you fly this in a tighter spot? Yes. But you're gonna have to fly faster so that you can maintain your airspeed. That's about as tight as you can go without losing altitude. So you can see I would say I'm about a 12 square foot area, or 12 by 12 feet, or 144 square feet. That would be about the minimum you can get away with. And you're not gonna gain altitude until you're going straight. Okay, so you see I go straight, I can gain some altitude. Then you can chop your throttle, and all you have to do is then control your oscillation of the aircraft. But it seems to be quite resilient to damage. I haven't damaged it at all. Would you get this for a 10-year-old? If the 10-year-old sort of had an idea of how to fly, meaning if they knew where the controls were and what they did. So this is the aileron axis on a mode 2 control. This would be the elevator control axis on mode 2. Mode 2 meaning what most people in North America use. Over in Europe, they use mode 1 a lot, but a lot of people still do mode 2. And then there's weird people that use mode 3 and 4. But that's okay. I'm not one of them. So this is ailerons, and you'll notice it's moving because many times on a 3-channel plane, they put the aileron control here as opposed to being on the throttle stick because it's easier for people that don't have that muscle memory. There is no rudder action here at all because there's no control channel here. It's over here.
It doesn't even move left and right.
It doesn't
on that
even
one?
move. It's
Okay.
locked. It's locked. It's
Just up and
yep,
down
it's
for
just
throttle.
up and down. Yep. And then I don't feel any push buttons here. Oh, there are trim buttons. I don't know if that does anything. Let's see. Yes.
Oh, it does actually trim it. Wow.
That's incredible. Okay, cool. And then that means there's probably a throttle trim just to screw with it. There's nothing on that channel. So
Right.
I'm really impressed with it. I mean, just to show the size, I know everybody is kind of picking between this and the 3-meter Fox because, you know, I want to get the right size for the job. So yeah, it's a little bit smaller. It's a little bit smaller. In fact, let's get a ruler out and show people just how big it really is.
Actually is.
Because this thing is bigger than the Inum by a long shot.
Do you even have the Inum still?
If I do, it's probably down in a pile somewhere. That's how often I fly it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would say that it's just under 12 inches. Okay, and then the length, it's about 12 inches. So that's pretty big actually.
Yeah.
You could totally fly this in a garage. If you have cars in there, it's not going to damage the cars. So if you guys are thinking about getting this for your kids or for yourself, it is a very fun little toy and they're inexpensive. But I really actually enjoy flying planes like this, especially when it's horrible outside. And I mean, if you're as obsessed with this stuff as I am, then you could sit here and fly it for hours. And you'll crash it a million times, but who cares? It's still really fun.
Do we have to show them how horrible it is outside?
Yeah, let's show them how horrible it is. Yeah, That's pretty much it.
It's ultra horrible.
So when you look out and it looks like this, this is the ticket, guys, right here.
Yep.
Because these little toys, they'll help you build muscle memory for one thing, but they're actually really fun. Okay, now, the most vulnerable spot on this plane for damage is gonna be the rudder. So if you have a rudder break, I'll show you what will break on you if it breaks. The good news is you're not typically gonna land tail first because of the nature of this aircraft. So you see how it's just held in there on a hinge? See how the black plastic clips onto the top and then the bottom? Okay, so it's just an electric coil and then a magnet this way or a magnet that way. But it's proportional, which is really cool. I really like this plane. It flies super good. Now, is this gonna be as good flying as the Fox? Probably not. Is it gonna be as good flying as virtually any aircraft I have? No. But you can't fly the Fox in the living room. And that's just the cool part. I'm trying to get it to do autopilot like we used to do with the Inum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean by autopilot?
Well, I do.
Tell it to the people.
So when we used to fly the Inum at our old house, Brian would get it going in a circle where he didn't even have to have the controller. He wasn't controlling it, and he would set the controller down on the counter and run around the island or the living room with the kids yelling and screaming like crazy people.
Well, I didn't do that. The kids did.
The kids were yelling and screaming like
But
crazy
see,
people.
that's the beauty of this, is that I have the controller laid down on the counter, and I call that autopilot, but really it's just flying around the room, which is just super cool. I mean, can you get cooler than that for around the Christmas tree? Or the other
nothing's
religious
gonna
things?
happen. Fly around here.
If it hits the ceiling, it's not gonna damage the ceiling,
No.
okay? Unless you sit there with the throttle on full. See, it's gaining a little bit of altitude, so I'm just gonna cut the throttle slightly, and then watch what happens. Eventually, it's gonna hit the window or something. And all I did was just hit trim a couple of times until it went the direction I wanted it to.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm gonna fly it back out of this configuration. See, no problem at all.
So, can our kid fly this?
Yeah,
Probably.
I think so. Yeah, our oldest could fly this. See, now that I've got it in the ground, I'm just gonna trim it back to center. And you guys hear that noise? That's the middle. So once you're in the middle, you should be ready to rock and roll. You can get back to what you were doing. So, I mean, other than the box being taped over, which was kind of annoying, and the fact that this thing is pulled up, I really don't care. This thing is really resilient. I don't even know if this is EPP. It sure doesn't feel like it. It feels like EPS. So EPS, of course, would be more like a packaging foam. It feels like a paper plate because that's the only way they can keep the weight down. So that being said, it's a little bit less resilient to damage, but this is pretty thick. So I don't think it's gonna break super easy. And it's actually pretty well put together. I'm surprised. I mean, it's a very simple system.
Yeah.
It would be cool to have an elevator, but you know, you just don't need a pesky elevator.
Nah.
So you use the throttle to control your elevator axis. The throttle in tandem with the rudder. And of course you can catch it too, which is always fun. That's a fun challenge. Or you can catch it in your camera crew's hair. That's always fun too, to live down.
So if somebody's looking at this thinking, I'm gonna get this for my kid or my husband or whatever to learn to fly.
I mean, it's fun, but this is gonna instill in you good, it's gonna be a decent way of helping the process of learning to fly, but it's still only a 2-channel plane.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a 3-channel plane is what people used to use as like trainers. They would have an elevator, and then they would have a rudder. And then, of course, they would have some sort of a dihedral on the wing, similar to this. This is actually a polyhedral because it's got 2 different shapes on it, but just imagine it straight out, does the same thing. And that's what people used to learn to fly. And so you just learned the muscle memory from using this spot to control the roll of the aircraft, and then this to control the elevator. You can pretend you're moving this stick, but it's not gonna do anything, of course.
Right.
So usually when I fly a 3-channel plane, I'll mix in so that this still controls the rudder because I'm used to it now. Because I started on a 2-channel and a 4-channel plane simultaneously. It was at the same time. I really do like flying this though, it's fun. It's not really frustrating. I feel like it's less frustrating than the Inim was because you can fly a little bit slower. And I haven't even put anything on it for extra drag. And I've done a few different planes. I've added some extra drag by taking, you know, sticky notes or, you know, cutting these things and folding them down. And that makes for kind of a fun experiment. And what you'll do is you'll fold those down, but then you also have to make the elevator go down to be able to fly straight. Otherwise it'll balloon really bad. So I like it, it's fun. It seemed to be flying forever too. Of course the battery popped off on that last crash. And if you have yours and it's not turning on, what you're gonna look for is this little red light in here, okay? There it goes. See that? And the first time you do it, you gotta go throttle all the way up, throttle all the way down.
I don't know exactly what time in the video we started flying, but I think you've been flying for at least 10 minutes.
Okay.
Not like 100% of the time, but...
We weren't 100% charged either.
Right.
We were probably like 95% charged.
Yeah.
Maybe 90. I would say that this is long enough for a kid's attention span. And then you just go ahead and charge it again. But I really like it. It's fun. Is it as fun as, you know, like a Sport Cub S or something like that? No, but you can't fly a Sport Cub S inside when it's truly crappy out.
Exactly.
If you have a big enough great room, or a 2-car garage would be plenty big. If you wanted to go out in the garage, of course this thing is gonna get dirty if it lands on the ground. You got a bunch of salt and stuff on the ground, that probably wouldn't be good on it. But I really like it, and it's fun. It's a good speed. It's not too fast, it's not too slow.
Yeah.
Can you do tricks with it? Okay, so I'll see if I can try to get it to do a trick. It's a little bit tricky to do tricks with this because there's no elevator. But what I'll do is I'll get some altitude and then I'll try to roll it intentionally. Okay, so that speeds you up quite a bit. But since there's no elevator, you really can't force it to, you know, do a loop, for instance. It doesn't mean it won't do a loop, it just means that you're not gonna be in full control.
Right.
It's gonna be kind of a lucky loop because you come out of a turn or you get blown by a ceiling fan.
And have been watching that last round. You haven't really gone above or needed to go above like 9 feet. So if you're flying it inside with just regular like standard height ceilings, you should be fine too.
Which would be 7.6, not 9.
Well, so then our line would be like 8.6.
Well, somewhere like that. But if you look at where the TV is, that TV is not 9 feet tall.
Right.
So you could fly this in a room that's a 9-foot ceiling comfortably, and in an 8-foot ceiling, you could totally get away with it.
And especially if you don't have a lot of like hanging lights like we do.
It's fun. It's fun, and you got to challenge yourself with landings and things like this.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could sit here and fly this until the battery was dead, and I'd still be enjoying it.
Yeah.
But I'm just not sure if it's filming well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell you, buy one of these, get it shipping quick. If you want it for Christmas, I don't want you to be disappointed. We're pretty close to Christmas to be doing that. But the thing is, this is a really fun toy, okay? Definitely not a hobby grade thing. This is not gonna be the last plane you get, I promise. If you get this and it's your last plane, you probably weren't meant for the hobby. But once you get this, the next thing you know, you're gonna be getting something like this, which is quite inexpensive as well. And this is a 4-channel plane, you know, with a prop that's designed to pop off. And this is really fun. It's a Warbird series. And it's also in the Banggood playlist. Of course, it's got ailerons, it's got an elevator and a rudder. And this has auto leveling. So when you get out, so this has no auto leveling. It just auto levels because of the nature of the shape of the wing. So when you let go of the controls, it just kind of favors into this, you know, level condition. This has a flight controller on it. And it's super fun, and you can take off and land with the wheels and everything. That's called wheels up, wheels down. Really fun, you know, second or third plane. Now, when I say second or third, I mean like if you're starting with this. This would definitely be another good first plane. But you're gonna be flying it outside. It goes way faster than this. And you can do loops and all that stuff. You can turn off the help and you can flip it upside down and fly it around like this or whatever you wanna do. You can do barrel rolls, all the tricks you want. Still very economical, very economical. And it's in ready to fly, meaning it comes with a transmitter and everything like this. So we've done reviews on this. This is actually called the T28 and it's part of the Warbird series. This one is, oh shoot, what is that? Ishin. Ishin. So they make this in a P51. They also make it in an F4U Corsair. And so obviously we have links to all these things. You can buy them to help support the channel, or you can look at the videos and then see if you even like them. What I would tell you to do, because I get this question all the time from people, hey, Brian, what do I buy my kid because I got like $100 budget? Well, first of all, let me just tell you about a $100 budget. $100 is kind of an in-between spot right now. It used to be that $100 budget was like the ticket. It was like what everybody wanted to spend. The problem is for 130 bucks, you can get a Sport Cub SUMX that's got all the bells and whistles. It's really nice, but it's also maybe not perfect for some people because you have to have pretty calm weather for it. Or you can get into an Ishin for a little bit less than 100, which is really nice, or a little bit more depending on which one you pick, because the prices are always a little bit different. And plus it depends on where you're getting it geographically on the planet. So that's why I don't tell pricing usually. Just look in the link, click the link, follow it. That's, they give us some commissions on stuff like this, which is, like a few cents on the dollar. But the thing is, if you buy something like this, you're gonna love it. It's super fun. But this is definitely something you could do for a first plane. And you're not gonna hurt yourself with it. It's under the weight limit, so you don't have to worry about FAA registration and stuff like this. And then a few months later, you could be doing something like this, which is gorgeous. This is made by a company called XPR. So you don't probably wanna get that for your first plane. You'll hate me.
Yes, don't do that.
But this is super fun. Right now, North America, during the middle of winter, you can fly this thing when it is snowing outside, which is why this is so cool. It's just an applicational thing. And that's the other thing. If you're getting into flying airplanes, don't worry. You're not just gonna get one, okay? That's what I thought. It was a big mistake, huge mistake. No, how many planes do we have?
I think today we decided it's over 100.
Today? It's been over 100 for a long time.
No, we just happened to be talking about that today with a friend.
Okay, it's probably like 125. But the thing is, we love this stuff. And when I say we, I mean me and my son. And
both of yours.
All of the kids like them. But there's just loads of fun stuff. These ones are just recent reviews. We've done thousands of videos to help you guys pick. So if you're saying, Brian, I got $100, I want to spend it on my kid. I'd like something that'll get here by Christmas. You better pay for the expedited shipping. But that being said, if you're in North America and you want something that's going to get here by Christmas, you're probably looking at the wrong item, because there are some things that would be from a North American-based company, Horizon Hobby, and you could look at those. But this plane is really fun. It's a good indoor plane. You'll have loads of fun with it, and it's really inexpensive. So if you buy this, this would be like a good New Year's Eve thing, maybe.
That would be fun.
Maybe if you ordered it a month ago. But anyway, everything you need to fly in the package, including the AA's. That's pretty cool. Or you can buy a better charger, or if you maybe have already got this charger, you can use that too, which is, that's made by Spectrum. That's a Horizon product.
As was the other little charger that you showed.
Yep, the other little charger, which is a little bit cheaper, but I think they're within like 10 bucks. So like, I'd go for this one.
And that one's easy for kids to use.
And it plugs into the wall instead of plugging into a USB cord. There's something about USB chargers, okay? I get a gripe with them because you only have like 3 of them in your house and you're like, how do I have 10,000 things that all charge off of the same adapter?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you can get those cheap too, but I don't want to have 100 of them sitting around. So that being said, I prefer this charger by far, the Spectrum microcharger, and it's just got like a plug like what used to go into your stereo, And then you can also put a drum connector in there too, because there's a couple of different ways you can energize this. So that being said, that's a good choice. Really like the plane. This is really fun. What is the thing even called?
Skywalker.
It's called the Skywalker, like Luke Skywalker? Oh, sorry. No, I mean, I was talking about our neighbor.
Yes.
Luke Skywalker. Not the guy, not the Disney guy. No. So without further ado, we're gonna close in trying to make my camera crew very dizzy.
I haven't eaten dinner yet. So
should I do a
it should
crash
be okay.
into the tree? Just to like the Christmas tree crash
Just
test?
because that's what you always do.
Well, I usually do it at least once.
If I fall over.
Oh man, I can't even crash into the tree. The
Almost
cats
got the
seem to be
cat.
fine with it too.
Yeah.
So we haven't had, are you gonna fall over now?
I'm trying not to.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a discus launch. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
So the discus launch is a more challenging way, but it's pretty cool. Oh, come on, I can't even crash into the tree. So basically, you guys get the idea. Really fun plane, really inexpensive. Definitely check the link if you want to help support the channel. There's a million different planes, but this is just one that you can do and really have a good old time. And really, you don't need a lot of skill to do this. But if you have zero skill, it'll still be fun. If you have a lot of skill, if you've been flying for years, it's also fun. That's why it's so cool. If anybody you know that likes airplanes, they're gonna get a kick out of this. Any other thoughts, camera crew?
I was just thinking I couldn't fly it, but that's okay.
Well, okay, maybe that's true.
You did say people that
are interested in
and
aircraft.
kind of know how they work.
Yeah. Have you ever thrown an airplane, a paper airplane?
Not well.
Okay, well you could probably fly this if you were really motivated and you wanted to show off to the YouTube audience, our wonderful YouTube audience.
I would have to practice first. And my dinner's almost done.
Okay. All right, guys, come back for more. We got so much coming. I can't even tell you about it because it would take too long.